All right, hey everybody, want to take a second to walk through some issues around bracing. Now I've done a video in the past about this, but I feel I can go into a couple extra little bits and pieces that are going to be helpful. Now what we're looking to do during ab bracing is create an environment around our spine that is very safe and secure. Without it, we have a lot of flexibility. Now you're supposed to be able to have all of this mobility as you go ahead and move around. The setback is the strength curve through those movements are not very, very high. So if I just went from here and try to stand up using my spinal erectors, these basically like tenderloins along the sides of your spinal column, are not super duper strong. They can help brace, but they're not super strong to do the rest of the lifts, as I stuttered through a sentence. A lot of that work is going to come from your hips. So as we go ahead and transition that movement, we're going to try to figure out a way to brace our core so we can transfer movement from our lower body to our upper body, whether that's an overhead press, a bench press, a squat, a deadlift. All of these movements have a lot of bracing through the core. Now, if I allow my core to be sacrificed, and I cave everything in, and I suck in my gut, as I go ahead and move, I'm going to start to move from here, and my hips are still upright. You can see my hips are still upright as I'm going through it. What I want to be able to do is pitch the hips and push out on the belly. So as I lower on down, I'm going to use my hip instead of my spine. That's when I'm going to be a whole lot stronger. So how do you go ahead and get stronger through that space? Push out. So it's not to suck in everything, it's to push everything out and create a lot of pressure. Our ribs have a lot of bone, right? So there's a lot of protection up in this space. Our hips, there's a lot of bone. Again, we have protection through the space. I don't have any bone here to go ahead and push against. This is where the inter-abs, this abdominal pressure needs to start to build. So if you take your hand and kind of dig it into just above like your love handle, I got them too, I am great, and you dig, 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 dig. Now, if I'm really soft, I can still move around a lot through the space. But if I take a breath in and brace through, you can see my hand starts to push out. So I'm driving everything outwards. So all of this now fills up with additional pressure that will stabilize from the legs up through the torso. So if I'm squatting, I'm not sacrificing any part of my spine. Now I like to use the the analogy, what would you rather sacrifice, your ass or your back? And you should probably give up your ass. The idea is that muscle, this movement around your hip, is going to be so much stronger if this leads the charge compared to your spine. So if I start to squat down and I get butt wing, right, where my tailbone tucks underneath, right, I'm really tucked underneath here, you can see how much flexion I'm creating in my spine, right? All of that bend. Now if I have a lot of weight on me and I'm not braced, my first move is this. Now I put more strain into my back. Now if I go ahead and brace through my core, and think my hip is going to do the work, you can see my back stays a whole lot flatter, and it doesn't cause any strain around the spine. So when people say deadlifting is bad for your back, bad form while deadlifting is bad for your back. They say, hey, squatting is bad for your back. Poor squatting is bad for your back. So really think to brace through your core, you should feel your hips actually shift in the general direction. So if I have to go and hinge over, I should feel my entire pelvis goes with, not just my spine. So here's my spine just going, and here's my hip helping me out. So again, hip, sacrifice your ass to protect your back. Give it a shot. Good luck on the next one.